All right, let's get into the Lions. Now, I just want to say before we get into the Lions, CJ commented the Lions are tied with the Bears at plus 900 to win the North. I sneaky like those betting odds. What do you
Do
think?
you like the Lions to win the North?
Sneaky.
Oh, come on.
plus 900.
They're a trendy pick too. I've heard people talking about them, and I like Dan Campbell, and like I want to root for them. I hope they do. Fuck Rodgers. I would love to see anybody else other than the Packers win it. It's not going to be the Lions. No way. The Lions suck. They've always sucked. They'll play games tough, and then they'll figure out a way to blow it, just like they did all last year. And then it's just going to be that much worse. Goff's the quarterback. You think Goff is going to lead this shit bum franchise to the playoffs for the first time? It's like, no way.
Of course
no
I
way.
don't.
I mean, plus 900, okay. But, like, I don't like the Bears. They're both plus 900 for a reason. I don't want either of them.
Right.
I don't know what the Vikings
no, of course
are.
not. I kind of feel the same way about them as I do like the Jets and the Giants and stuff and the Jaguars. I'm gonna have to see it to believe it, and I just don't believe it. I remember the Lions making the playoffs when I was like a kid or something. Like I was in middle school or something. Barry Sanders Lions made the playoffs. I remember, and they got killed by I think the Cowboys or something like that. And that's I know they made it maybe once or twice with Stafford. But
Calvin Johnson, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe they made the playoffs like a couple times in my life. But no, I don't think they're going to the playoffs.
No.
And I certainly don't think they're winning the division. Anyway.
Not with Jared Goff. I like what they're building. I do think they have some interesting pieces. But until they have a quarterback better than Jared Goff, it's not happening.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But fantasy-wise, I do think there's going to be some viable pieces here. Why don't we transition on in?
All right, go for
10-16 total plays, 420 rushes, 596. I think they'd like to rush it more, but their defense sucks to the point that they have to abandon the run earlier. Still, minus 24 league average play. That seems just about right. They were, let me just double check last year's. I think they were minus 16, minus 69 the year before Campbell got there. They did play with a little bit more pace. A little more juice there. But I think, just a below league average seems about right with a 41% rush, 59% pass. Do you think Goff is going to take the majority of these pass attempts unless he gets hurt? They didn't really add anybody or any threat to his competition. So unless they truly bomb, I do think Goff is going to be the main quarterback with about 584 attempts, 400 completions there. We'll get to his stat line in a second. But in terms of the other market shares, I got DeAndre Swift seeing just under 50% of the rush attempts at 202. We got 40% coming in for Jamal Williams. That's about in line with what they did last year. I do think it should be more for Swift, but I also do wonder, I think it's fair to say, is he going to hold up to a full workload? The big thing with Swift, though, as it was last year, this is one of the things we nailed on our projection show last year, humongous target share coming in for him. It was last year. It is, again, 16% target share, so 95 targets I have for Swift. And I think that is very, very reasonable. He is a phenomenal receiver, one of the most dangerous guys out of the backfield. And if this workload spiked for Swift, he's been one of the most efficient players we've seen in recent years. He's graded out higher than many running backs. He's the type of guy that, like, in round 2 could explode and be like the number one running back. I just don't know that I believe in the team enough. I do think the line, they have a very good line. They continue to add on to it and continue to beef it up. So if there's one thing I love about it, it is the line. I think that's going to help Swift as it helped him last year. But I can't take him above Aaron Jones. If he does what Aaron Jones has been doing his whole career, we'd be satisfied. Yeah, I see him going ahead of Aaron Jones. So I haven't drafted a lot of DeAndre Swift. Where do you fall in on DeAndre Swift?
I'm coming from a place of skepticism, but I see the potential. I mean, you're talking about giving a guy 100 targets. Also, I find it. I mean, obviously, we talked about targets earlier when we were talking about Jones and Dillon. I mean, this is DeAndre Swift's going to get 4 times as many targets as Jamal Williams, like you said, and targets are worth just exponentially more than like a carry. So I definitely see the value in that. I also would tack a little bit of a premium on it, and I don't know the data behind this. Maybe this wouldn't hold up to like close scrutiny. But when I consider a quarterback to be kind of a below average quarterback, I always look for more completions to the tight end and to the running back than I ordinarily would. They seem like easier pass routes, dump offs, stuff like that. And I think Jared Goff is exactly the type of guy I could see like looking for that safety blanket all the time because he's not really trying to air it out, anything like that. So I actually do like Swift even though I'm skeptical of any Lions piece. You have Swift as your RB10 on the big board, although you've only got him projected as your RB13 as far as numbers. Not a huge discrepancy, but it seems like you like him maybe slightly more than the numbers.
Yeah, and I think I baked in a little bit of the injury risk to these projections as well. I wouldn't be shocked to see him finish as like the running back 8 in points per game, but just ultimately doesn't play enough games to crack that top 10. We will see for sure. The other pieces, of course, there's Hockenson. I'm a lot lower than I expected to be on him, and that's because I'm a lot higher on Amon-Ra St. Brown than a lot of people are. 130 targets coming his way. He was the number 1 receiver, more than Cooper Kupp, over your fantasy playoffs. He went on that dominant elite stretch, and everybody wants to discredit it and tell you. When I see a rookie that does that with Tim Boyle at their quarterback, I want to sing its praises, and I believe in it. And I don't think it was fluky. He is very smooth.
No, he's good.
Right after the catch, like it just didn't look fluky at all. The comp that people kept making coming out of college was Cooper Kupp. And that was just exactly kind of what we were seeing, is that move around and just get open and be savvy and be available for your quarterback. Just like you said with Jared Goff, and that's what I like about him a lot, is he's the type of guy that is a great security blanket that can always kind of feel the coverage out and be there for you. So I love Amon to get a ton of targets, 130, and he ends up finishing in my top 20 receivers because of it. I believe wide receiver 18 in PPR, 1056, 7 on 96 catches. I really don't. That's maybe a ceiling projection, but I feel pretty good about him hitting that ceiling. If you could do it with Big Game Boyle, you could do it with anybody. And yeah, they added Jameson Williams, and people are like, yeah, he's way more talented. Maybe as a physical specimen, sure. I honestly think it's a great addition for Amon-Ra because he's just going to clear out more and more space. You have to have the safeties over the top there to defend that Tyreek Hill level of explosiveness and speed from Jameson Williams, who I do like taking a later round stab with, especially in best ball, the type of blow up guy that could have a 30-point week. But I'm not going too hard on him or Chark or even Cephas, of course, because like you met again with Goff, I think the short, safe throws are what he does best and what he's comfortable with. And none of those three really fit the bill. They fit the real life, field stretching, keep the defenders away so St. Brown can do his thing. But fantasy-wise, I don't know that any of those three will be that dependable. And outside of best ball, I'm not really looking at any of them outside of Jameson Williams. And I'm not looking at Hockenson because he always gets hurt and he starts hot and he just, I don't know. He just feels like he's never going to fully come through for us. Right?
So there was not a lot of action as far as discrepancies amongst your tight ends in either conference, NFC or AFC, with the exception of 2 guys. And one of them is Hockenson. And so I actually want to bring this as one of the biggest discrepancies, the biggest discrepancy, actually. You have him projected as your tight end 16 by the numbers. But you've got him as your tight end 9 on your big board. Like that's a big difference.
It is huge difference.
I think there's got to be a little bit of just kind of like pass, like, who's a decent tight end? Hawkinson's okay. And there's not maybe that many. You got him kind of, I feel like, in the Irv Smith range.
Yeah, maybe I'm projecting him a little too low because of tight ends, 16% starting to feel a little lower than maybe it should. Maybe Amon-Ra comes down, 1 to 2%. But I guess it is just a product of me being very high on this now sophomore coming in this year and being pretty low on everybody else around him because I think he's just going to be the magnet for the ball. The thing with Hockenson is whether I have him ranked at 9 or 16 or whatever, he always goes where Goddard or especially who we love, Dawson Knox, go. And I will never go TJ Hockenson over either of those two. And he's getting drafted ahead of both of them. So
that's stupid.
0. I've literally have not hit yes on Hockenson once this year, and I don't plan to change that. So maybe I do need to bump him down in the rankings, but those guys are consistently drafted after Hockenson, and I love Knox. I love Goddard. I mean, certainly Dalton Schultz, one of my favorites. We'll talk about it a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so to me, it comes down to Swift. It comes on Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I like them both a lot, and I'm certainly higher on ECR than St. Brown. And other than that, I really don't think there's much. Maybe Goff is a QB2 in best ball, but yeah, that's really what it comes down to for them.
All right, we are 40 minutes in, and we've done 3 teams. So
we'll find our groove, but we might not be able to do the whole NFC. We'll see what we have to reschedule. Right. Maybe at the intermission, we'll figure it out. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments. Check out some more videos and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.